You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Radio Show, only on Financial News and Talk. Now live in studio, your host, local and national real estate expert and consumer advocate, Ron Siegel.
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries. As we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media, this is the show that connects the dots of confusion. Delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots. You know the actions you can take? How your family or business can benefit from current events most of all. Thank you for joining me. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day. We have a very focused show. We only chat about items that affect the roof over your head, your bank account, and anything I feel would benefit you. But before we get into our intriguing content today, please join me in welcoming our featured guest. Craig Redler's in the house. Welcome.
Good morning, Ron. Thanks for having me.
Glad to have you with us. And let me remind you, if you ever have any home or finance-related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you. And you can reach out to me directly, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are no operators standing by. I am it.
Quiet, numbskulls. I'm broadcasting.
Well, I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan or plan to save you money. I personally work with you, even if you don't have any needs today. Save this number in your phone for future reference, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And, of course, we celebrate every day on Ron Siegel Radio. I like celebrating. So today is, I've got to look this one up because I'm not exactly sure what this is. And if I guess, I could be in trouble. Weary Willie Day. So this celebrates or recognizes the art of clowning and the impact it has on our lives. Named after a character made famous by Emmett Kelly, born on this day in 1898.
Weary Willie Day in my life since I turned 50.
Is it in the world? Okay. Yeah, that's okay. So that's a fun one. No, it's good. That's join in, and that's what we're here just to have a little fun. I mean, it's we don't do brain surgery on Ron Siegel Radio, so we have fun. Christmas Card Day. Okay. National Pastry Day. That's the one we got to celebrate. National Pastry Day. What's your favorite pastries? I could probably do a whole show on pastries. That would be kind of fun, wouldn't it? Just to go and talk about pastries and where to get them, who makes them, who's got the best ones. How about an eclair? Custard-filled chocolate eclair. That one works for me. My wife's is a Neapolitan, whatever they're called, Napoleon. I'm not sure what it's. Josh, you're out there in Vegas. They used to have the buffets out there that had 1 million pastries on there. I don't know. Are they still there? Have they closed all the buffets? They're all gone? Yeah, I can imagine. Okay, with COVID, they're probably gone. But hey, you know something? I heard an interesting story this morning. I did chuckle just a little bit. Usually, when you're listening to bank regulators, there's usually not a whole lot to laugh about. But one of the people from Freddie Mac, every Thursday morning, 7 a.m., they provide us with their mortgage market rates, the new rates that they release every week. And as normal, they did release them 7 o'clock California time. Interest rates on a 30-year fixed rate loan, 3.1%. You got to pay about 3/4 of a point to get it. Down 1 basis point. It was 3.11 last week. Last year, this time, 2.71, but I digress. So this person from Freddie Mac comes out and says the path rates take will be driven by Omicron. Now, I just started laughing, and so did the announcer on the TV when I heard that.
You know better than that.
Right? Is anybody really paying much attention to Omicron right now other than the news media and the Democrats? I shouldn't say that. But really, that's the truth. I mean, who's really paying any attention to it, right? Oh, and Pfizer, because they figure they can make some more money. And you know that their CEO, doesn't know what's going on with the vaccines, but he did come out and talk about the vaccines. So if you recall, right after the election, he sold millions and millions and millions of dollars worth of stock the exact same day that they announced that the vaccine was good to go. Very surprising. And yes, I know that he had put in to sell that stock. He had made the announcement or registered to sell 90 days earlier. But you don't think he had any authority or control over when they were going to release the information? Yeah, well, if you don't believe that he had any authority or control over that, I've got some beachfront property right there on the Pacific Ocean, right outside of Las Vegas. Right? I'm sure that we can do that. If you believe that one, I'm just throwing that out there. So unbelievable. A little nutty, but let's see what else is going on. I guess I digressed and didn't even get to the market. What is going on in the market right now? So the Dow Jones Industrial Average down 47 points. The S&P 500 down 8. NASDAQ down 136. Oil down 72 cents a barrel. The 10-year Treasury is the only thing that I'm seeing on the board that's up. Even Germany, their 10-year bond, it used to be there last time we saw. You didn't get all your money back when you put your money in their 10-year. Well, now it's a little worse. So yesterday you were getting a negative 0.31 rate of return. Now it's negative 0.35. Japan's all the way up to 0.05, all the way up there. So not good if you want to put your money into these various instruments. Let's see what else is going on in the world. Oh, boy, oh, boy. Let's see what else. Michael Strahan. Yeah, I guess flight delayed. Can you imagine this? I mean, have you seen the size of Michael Strahan? So he's going on a Blue Origin space launch, delayed until Saturday due to high winds. I don't know. It just seems to me that the wind, you'd think that this spacecraft would break through the wind, but maybe it's on the way back is where the issues come in. Move right along. Hey, 500 people now. Here's a fascinating thing. Only government could do something this stupid, right? So LA school districts are short on staffing. Most school districts are. The day that we have a job opening report of 11 million open jobs, they decide is the day that they're going to fire 500 people for not getting vaccinated. Now, I'm just going to throw this out there. With 11 million job openings and they fire 500, I don't think it's going to bother those people too much. They might even be able to move out of Los Angeles, and if I had my choice, I'd move out of Los Angeles. Of course, then again, I only go there once or twice a year, if I have to. It's generally just for some sort of an event or something along those lines. Why would I ever want to go to Los Angeles? I digress further. Supply chain issues to bedevil retailers through 2022. Yeah, well, have you noticed that Walmart and Target are not having a problem with the supply chain? Yeah, they chartered their own boats. Think about that one. So it's these small guys. So think about this. Walmart and Target chartered their own boats. Amazon probably did the same. The virus doesn't go into Walmarts. They don't go into Targets. We learned that already last year. So you can go shopping at Walmart and not get sick. I guess we got it made if you're a Walmart shopper. Got a great program lined up for you today. One of my favorite subjects, how to legally avoid taxes. So we're going to talk to Craig Redler about that. We're going to learn with him 2 reasons why waiting to buy a home will cost you, and how to save during the holidays and involve your community. All that and more. You can reach me anytime. Our offer number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio, your home and mortgage connection.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender. Are you like many of your neighbors trying to figure out how to pay off your debts so you can retire someday? Build bigger savings. Invest in opportunities. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Debt will destroy 50% of Americans from being able to retire earlier and with more. What if you could have a guaranteed program that could show you how to eliminate all of your debt in 10 years or less, all without having to spend more each month than you spend right now? Yes, that's correct. All without spending more from your checkbook each month than you are today. Get your free analysis today to see if you qualify. Visit rsrnodebt.com. Log on today for your free analysis, rsrnodebt.com. No purchase necessary. The free analysis takes only 2 minutes. rsrnodebt.com. Ron Siegel Radio is your home and mortgage connection. Go to rsrnodebt.com. rsrnodebt.com. Are you tired of paying rent? Are you tired of paying someone else's mortgage? Do you know qualified folks can potentially purchase a $500,000 home for less than $5,000 out of pocket? Ron Siegel can help qualified people purchase their own home at amazing interest rates. If you're tired of paying someone else's mortgage, reach out to Ron today at ronismylender.com. That's ronismylender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
Hey friends, do you dream of mortgage-free home ownership? Are you aware that even if you own your home free and clear, it could still be costing you thousands per year? The Siegel Lending Team can help you generate tax-free income, accumulate family wealth, and maintain ownership of your home. By simply emailing your most recent mortgage statement, you'll receive a no-obligation real estate plan. Learn more by calling 1-800-306-1990 or email me your recent mortgage statement to PEAR@RonSiegelRadio.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions, as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Mortgage Minute today being brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial when you're ready for that next home loan. Geneva have got the programs and the products. You just need to make the call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Dow Jones now down 33.5 points. The NASDAQ is down 133 points. Ow! The S&P 500 down 13.5 points. 10-year Treasury down 2 basis points. Mortgage-backed securities up 5 basis points. All of that is basically the information you can find on Google.com. So why are you listening to me? Well, it's the why all of that is happening. So the NASDAQ traditionally drops when the 10-year Treasury the yield is going up. So that's just part of that reasoning. Then we look over further and we see, okay, what's going on else? What else is going on in the world? Well, we got that JOLTS report, job openings and labor turnover report. Told you about that, 11.1 million jobs seen in July. Number of quitters reported at 4.16 million, off the September level of 4.36. And a rate of 2.8%, still elevated but lower than the record high of 3%. Here are some of the areas with the highest job openings, which you could expect to see. Leisure and hospitality, manufacturing is 1 million jobs, construction 410,000, transportation 611,000. Nothing new. We've heard from most of those companies already. I wonder if some of the teachers want to go and get into leisure and hospitality or some of these other leisure and hospitality would be an easy one to go from, because I did see that there were some of the food service workers that weren't getting vaccinated. Might want to go to leisure and hospitality. Lack of workers. Employers are holding on to their employees. Initial jobless claims came out this morning. 184,000 was the number. 184,000. First time people filing for unemployment for the very first time. As a result of lack of workers, employers are holding on to their employees. So that's a pretty good number. The lowest reading in 52 years. Lowest in 52 years. Guess where the largest claims came from? So think about this one. We have 184,000 initial jobless claims. And out of 184,000, can you imagine where the largest percentage came, or largest number came from? California. Surprise, 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 right?
Surprise, surprise, surprise.
Out of 184,000 in the entire country, 57,000 came from California. You can't make this stuff up. New York, 23,000. Does that surprise anybody? So we're going to have a 30-year bond auction later this afternoon. Yesterday's 10-year auction was average. Did not cause a whole lot of volatility. Tomorrow we're about 8:30 Eastern time, 5:30 for those of you that get up on the West Coast. Consumer Price Index will be coming out. We're going to see what the inflation numbers show. That'll be driving the market as well. That's the Mortgage Minute, brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next home loan, Geneva's got the programs and the products. You just need to make the call, 800-306-1990. Craig Redler's with us. He's going to educate us. Maybe he's going to educate me on how to get a drink during the break. But more importantly, how do we avoid some taxes legally?
There are ways to mitigate your tax burden. Yes.
Okay. So get a little quick sip there. Okay, so is this a California law? Is it based on federal law? Where are we at?
Two things I wanted to talk about today.
Okay.
For tax mitigation, one thing people should be talking about, and it's getting kind of late in the year, is funding a completed gift trust to get money out of your estate. Freeze the value of assets today. So if I can take an asset and fund it into a completed gift trust today, whatever the value is today, that's what it's going to count against my estate when it comes time to calculate estate and gift taxes.
Whatever the value is today of the asset or my cost basis?
The asset on the day you gift it. So if I gift an asset today, and if your cost basis is $100,000 and now it's worth $1 million, you're on the hook for the capital gains if I gift it today.
Okay.
But you put it in this trust, and that $1 million asset, you live another 30, 40 years, is now worth $2, $3, $4 million. All the growth is not going to be included in your estate when it comes time to calculate estate tax.
So when do I have to pay that $900,000 though?
The
difference between that million and
the capital gain. Now
100,000?
that's going to be that'll be immediate. So
I have to pay that immediately.
Yes.
That doesn't sound like fun.
Well, no, it's not fun. But
Kind of like an oversized Roth IRA then.
But but think about not having to do it or not having to pay the capital gain on everything.
Right.
So
and is that a California law or is that
that particular one,
IRS?
that's federal.
Okay.
So the California technique that I wanted to talk about today is.
So what's that? Go back to that first one because I'm slow. I'm a simple guy.
I may not be explaining this very well.
No, I'm just so I'm taking the $100,000 basis.
Yes.
I am going to pay my capital gains on to up to $1 million.
Yes.
And then I'm putting it into a holding vehicle of some sort.
Correct. Which also creditor protects it.
Okay, so and at what point do I have to pay? Do I ever pay the any gains from there?
Next generation would worry about it down the road. Now,
What if I want to access it? Can I access it?
You
anytime?
can manage it. Now, the way I write these trusts, there is a back door. So in an emergency, if you have to get back at it, you can. You want to avoid that. But you can manage it while it's in this holding vehicle. That is to say, if say, for instance, the asset is real property.
Okay.
Say it's single family and you want to get into multifamily or you want to trade it for crypto, you can instruct the trustee, get rid of asset X and acquire asset Y. They'll do that.
What about can I partner with the trust on ventures?
100%. You can instruct the trust to form an LLC and do a project. You can make yourself the manager of that LLC and draw a salary for doing that. So there's a number of
So I
ways
can
for that.
go in and say, okay, the trust is gonna help me buy an apartment building or a business or something like that.
Yes.
And the trust buys it, I run it, and we have some sort of if it's an LLC, we don't have to have a equal equity or equal
Correct.
split of the growth.
The manager doesn't have to have any equity position to manage it and draw a salary.
Okay, so and who decides what the salary is?
It's got to be reasonable in light of what you're doing, but you and the trustee. And the
Okay,
trustee,
so it's going to be somewhere less than what Elon Musk makes.
depends on what you do, I guess.
Yeah, so that's an interesting one. So that's a good way of us to try and manage that and get a benefit of the asset and still have protection, because you said it's protection from
Creditor protected.
creditor
100%.
protected.
So if you are the original owner, despite being the original owner, and you gift it away and 6 months later get sued, have a car accident, whatever, that asset's off your balance sheet for purposes of a creditor being able to take it.
Now, I don't know if this is an area that you get into at all, but I'm just thinking out loud, is being that it's not on my balance sheet, being that it's not theoretically an asset of mine, I wonder what I have to do with that, or if I have to report it at all for college planning purposes. Just a thought, I don't know. So we're going to have to call our buddy Chris Bissonette and find out if it's in this type of a vehicle, because that could be great for some of our families that are looking for their economic family contribution.
I wouldn't think so. I'm just guessing here, so don't
Okay.
quote me on this, because a vehicle or a trust like this also works for Medicaid planning. So you can, if you want to avoid Medicaid spend down, most of the clients we deal with, that's not going to be too much of a concern. But the way Medicaid typically is going to work is you have to be below a certain asset level to qualify for long-term care. By funding a trust like this, if enough time passes, it's off your balance sheet for Medicaid planning. So
Okay, and that's the spot. So my guess is, and again, I'm not an expert. This is not Craig's forte. So we don't we want you to know enough. We really want what we want you to know on this particular college issue is know enough to ask the right person the right question. Right? If you want to know about this vehicle, call me 800-306-1990. No, I don't know about it, but I do know how to get a hold of Craig. Right? So there's the bottom line on that is more often than not, I say this all the time, Craig. So, and I shouldn't have said this before. So Craig is a lawyer, not giving us legal advice today. Right? If you want legal advice, just give me a call at 800-306-1990. I will not give you legal advice, but I'll give you Craig's number, and you can call and pay him to help you with legal advice. We're educating. More often than not, I should throw this out there, more often than not, when we educate on Ron Siegel Radio, what we're really doing is giving you questions to ask experts, right? So if I have my question about college and that's not your expertise, my bet is, and I don't like to bet unless I know the answer, but you can call somebody and find out the answer, right? It's pretty simple. Right. So that's just part of this. So
my only expertise with college came in the 11 years it took me to get my undergraduate degree.
There you go.
That's a joke, by the way.
Oh, wait a second. I'm a little slow here.
Thank you.
Right. So
to be clear.
Well, you know something. So this is just an aside. So if Josh was in California, I would have done this with Josh this year, but he's not. So for many, many years, during the 2 weeks between, right around Christmas and New Year's, nobody wants to hear the old bald guy that is not wearing a Santa suit. I mean, if you're old and heavy wearing a Santa suit, they want to hear from you. But the radio guy talking about finance, they didn't want to hear from. So we did ask all of our guests throughout the year if they wanted to bring their kids in to be on radio for those 2 weeks. And we had a blast. The kids loved it. Some of them were a little shy, but for the most part, the kids loved it. But I used to always ask them, okay, what grade are you in? And they tell me first grade, second grade, third grade. And we'd say, do you like your teacher? Yes or no? And they all said yes. And has your teacher been doing this a long time? Yes. Has your teacher been teaching in second grade a long time? Yes. Well, you don't have a very smart teacher because they're still in second grade. Are you going to get out of second grade this year? So when we come up with your comment there about 11 years for the undergrad, unless you were in a great fraternity having a lot of partying, that's a different story.
That was part of it.
There you go. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, your credit matters. We're going to talk about it, how to save during the holidays and involve your community. 2 reasons why waiting to buy a home will cost you. All that and more. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, it's 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the number 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio, your home and mortgage connection.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
Are you a renter and tired of making monthly payments? Paying off someone else's mortgage? Hey, it's Ron Siegel here to help you stop renting and start owning your dream home with amazing low interest rates. And you could potentially qualify for a...
Are you a veteran, own a home, and need money? The Siegel Lending Team is here to help veterans refinance and get the money they need. The VA 100 lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value, refinance your mortgages, consolidate credit cards, and lower your payments by an average of $700 a month. And the Siegel Lending Team knows that character means more than a credit score. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 21037, and DRE number 018694552. You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The real-time real estate segment today being brought to you by the area trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Text SLT Home Digest to 79564, SLT Home Digest 79564. Or you can go and just go to rsrhomedigest.com, rsrhomedigest.com. 2 reasons why waiting to buy a home will cost you. If you're a homeowner who's decided your current house no longer fits your needs, or a renter with a strong desire to become a homeowner, you may be hoping that waiting until next year could mean better market conditions to purchase a home. To determine whether you should buy now or wait another year, you can ask yourself 2 simple questions. Where will home prices be a year from now? And where will mortgage rates be a year from now? Easy for me to say. Let's shed some light on the answers to both of these questions. Where will home prices be a year from now? 3 major housing industry entities are projecting ongoing home price appreciation in 2022. Here are their forecasts. According to the National Association of Realtors, NAR, the median price of a home today is $353,900. Using an average of 3 price projections above 6.53%, and a home that sold for $353,900 today would be valued at $377,010 at the end of next year. National numbers, going to apply our area to it. I mean, we're $950,000 is the median home price here in Orange County, California. As a prospective buyer, you'd prefer to pay an additional $23,000, $110,000. Would you prefer to pay that extra money, $23,110 by waiting? Where will mortgage rates be a year from now? Today, Freddie Mac estimates the average 30-year fixed mortgage rate in the fourth quarter of this year will be 2.8%. However, most experts believe mortgages will rise as the economy recovers. Here are the forecasts for fourth quarter 2022 by three major entities. Fannie Mae, 3.4, Freddie Mac, 3.8, Mortgage Bankers Association, 4%. That averages out to 3.73% if you include all three forecasts. Any increase in mortgage rates will increase your costs. What does it mean for you if home values and mortgage rates increase? If both variables increase, you get to pay more. Or you just can't buy as much house, either one. Let's assume you purchase that $353,900 home in the fourth quarter of this year with a 30-year fixed rate loan at 2.8% after making a 10% down payment. According to mortgagecalculator.net, don't use that one. Just go to ronismylender.com and get our mortgage calculator. Your monthly mortgage payment would be approximately $1,309. Principal and interest only, does not include taxes and insurance and other fees. Same home 1 year from now would cost $377,000 and the mortgage rate 3.73. Your monthly mortgage payment after putting down 10% would be approximately $1,568. Yeah, an extra $259 a month. That's a little over $3,000 a year, $36,000 over the life of the loan. Think about that one. I'm sorry, $93,000 over the life of the loan. Whew. Bottom line, when asking if you should buy a home, you may think of the non-financial benefits of home ownership when asking when to buy, and the financial benefits make it clear that doing so now is much more advantageous than waiting until next year. That's the Real-Time Real Estate segment. Brought to you by the area trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Text SLT Home Digest to 79564. Find that dream home before someone else does. Continuing our conversation, Craig Redler is in the office with us. I say in the house, but I don't know. I guess maybe we're in the studio, chatting about some asset protection. So I said tax protection, but I guess it's more asset protection.
Well, the other technique I wanted to talk about today was something called a California Private Retirement Plan.
Okay.
And that is a plan that's available only to California residents. And it's one of the rare exceptions where you've got the state in your corner, where the state has really got your back in terms of creditor protection.
Wait. The state?
Surprise.
We never get the state behind somebody that's got any kind of financial resources.
It is exceedingly rare, I'll tell you. But this is one that,
unless they're booting us out of the state.
Well, interestingly enough, I suspect that when the statute enabling this technique was passed, it was a long time ago. Statute predates ERISA, the federal statute where qualified plans live. So it was from 1970 or 71 thereabouts. So it's a 50-year-old statute.
It might have been around the Reagan era, maybe, give or take.
More or less. What the public policy, I suspect, behind it is the legislature wanted people to be able to finance their own retirement on the theory that if you don't finance your own, maybe the state ends up doing it for you. So what the state has allowed you to do is take a certain bucket of assets, designate them as for retirement, and now they're off the table from creditors. So basically every state has exemption laws, and California's historically were very bad. We all hear about the homestead exemption in Florida, for instance.
Right.
You can have a $10 million house and have judgments all over the place. None of the creditors can take your house because your house is 100% exempted. California didn't have generous exemption laws except for this PRT. So this is the one kind of diamond in the rough of the otherwise horrible exemption rules that are in California.
So is there limits to what we can put in there?
Yes, but there's no limits. And that's where you need someone who knows what they're doing to set one up. The limits are not in the statute itself. The limits are based on your lifestyle. So when someone calls my office and says, I'm interested in one of these plans, the first thing we're going to look at is our lifestyle. So you're going to take their age, you're going to take their annual income, you're going to take their anticipated rate of return, anticipated age of retirement, and calculate, all right, they have this much money, this is how they're living today, they're going to retire in X number of years, how much are they going to need in retirement to maintain that lifestyle? So in calculating that, if you've already got a fairly good balance sheet, the numbers we can protect with this thing come back very big. If you're a big earner and you've got a lot of property, sometimes it comes back, we can put millions in these things. They are unlike the qualified plans, there's no limit in how much you can finance them in any given year. So if we calculate that you're way behind in your retirement planning, and interestingly enough, even a lot of entrepreneurs are,
Sure,
because they
think that their retirement is going to sell the company, and
100%.
yeah, for the most part, the company is the entrepreneur.
So they have nothing in a qualified account. So there's people that come in with a $20 million net worth and a $50,000 IRA, and you look at someone like that, and they're, if they're 50 years old or 60 years old, they're way behind on what they can reasonably set aside. We do the analytics and come up with a big number. Unlike with a qualified plan, there is no limit to how much you can initially fund it with. So we can front load it with 10, 12, $14 million, whatever you want to put in, or whatever you want to put into it.
And could that be my house?
Yeah. The problem with the house, now we use other techniques for the house.
Oh, okay.
Now the problem with the house, because it's a retirement account and these assets are set aside for retirement. Now, of course, they can be securities or any kind of investment. They can be a rental property, but
Okay.
you don't want it to be anything you're currently consuming. So
Okay.
the primary residence is usually not good to direct fund. However, what we do with the primary residence is we will either fund the plan with a promissory note or some other kind of friendly debt and use the house to secure the debt. So you're going to lean up the house, even a house with a lot of equity. Ultimately, the short answer to your question is you can't direct fund a house, but through other techniques, we can use this planning to protect your house, even if it's got a lot of equity in it.
So the beauty there is that I guess if you've got a lien on the property through the PRT, then that's a higher seniority than maybe some other liens that could come if there's a judgment.
100%.
Other than maybe taxes. I would assume the tax liens are gonna supersede that.
Yeah, they're about the only.
Yes, you don't get away from those guys.
But the average.
You might have other tools for that if you want to call Craig.
We do. Yes, we do. But yes, the average debt
Right.
is going to be the first in time is going to take seniority or superiority.
So here's the issue: is there's a lot of. It's amazing because we've been talking in the last 2 weeks a lot about planning, right? And the bottom line is we've got financial planners that are talking to us about the Alpha 3 Trust that we've been chatting about, and we didn't talk about these kind of asset protection programs. Now, if you need the asset protection programs, we've got a different individual who's the expert. Now, when we talk about Alpha 3, we're talking about investing. That's not an attorney, but they need to get the attorney involved, right? Because they don't draw up trust. They're investment guys. So now we have to call and talk to the attorney. So what does all this mean to you? Very, very simple. I've been talking about this for the last 11 years. And the only reason I've been talking about it for 11 years is that's when I started doing radio. You need a household board of directors, right? The corporations all get a board of directors. And why do they have a board of directors that are bringing various levels of experience? Because you need a well-rounded portfolio, right? So you need the investment advisor. You need the financial planner. You need the attorneys. You need the tax guys. I don't know. Are you a tax guy?
I encounter tax in what I do, but I'm not formally trained in tax.
So basically what you would be saying is the same thing that I'm saying is, hey, something I know about the PRT. Now let's talk to the tax guy, see how that's going to impact your tax planning.
Absolutely. We have tax guys in our office too, in our firm.
Right. So you bring in a board of directors of various individuals with various levels of expertise, because I'm just going to throw this out there. I don't know anybody that knows it all. The only guy that I know that knows it all is the one that I don't want to talk to. Right. I mean, because there's no such thing. Right. I mean,
Ron, I'm sure you're familiar with the term family office. Undoubtedly, you've heard that. Wealthy families have family offices.
Sure.
Literally, they have a team that's 100% on salary just to manage the family affairs. And you don't have to be wealthy.
Now, we're not talking about the Dallas type family affairs. The Dallas show. Kidding myself here. Josh, you probably don't even remember the show Dallas.
but take anybody that's ultra high net worth, and they have a family office typically, and it's not out of reach for everybody. It's not going to be full time on staff, but put together a team, and stay in your lane. If you're a doctor, make people well, and leave the financial affairs to people who do that.
Yeah, generally, not always, but generally, the last person you want to talk to about financial affairs is a doctor.
Yes.
Right. So Bottom line here, we're bringing you all kinds of individuals who bring a whole host of experiences. I don't know which one you need, but you call me in and we can talk about it. I'll put you in touch with Craig. He's protecting your assets for you. You're listening to Ron Siegel.
Well, can I add that with some of these other techniques, with the private retirement plan and trust, there really is no limit other than assets that you're currently consuming to what you can fund them with. So something like an Alpha 3 trust, I don't even know much about them, I suspect can be held in one of these plans. And so now you've got whatever tax advantages, whatever kind of return it's bringing you, happening to where your creditors can't reach it if heavens forbid you get into some trouble.
Beautiful, right? So we're putting everybody together, putting them all together. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, Josh, we haven't given anything away today. We've got to give something away. Okay, so we'll figure out what we're going to give away, and we're going to also give you your credit matters, how to save during the holidays and involve your community, all that and more. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our podcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the number 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Are you paying rent because you cannot afford to live in your dream home? Are you paying rent because you don't believe you have the down payment funds to purchase your own home? At Siegel Lending Team at ronismylender.com has up to $25,000 to help qualified people purchase their own home at amazing interest rates. Contact the Siegel Lending Team today at ronismylender.com. Again, ronismylender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037. ronismylender.com.
Homeowners over the age of 62 are taking back financial control after retirement with reverse mortgages, and the Siegel Lending Team is here to help you use it to your advantage. Call Ron Siegel with Geneva Financial to receive your free information booklet with no obligation. The booklet answers all your questions, and the best part is, you still own your home. Call Ron Siegel at 1-800-306-1990 or visit ronsiegelradio.com.
Are you earning a safe, secure 10+% return on your investments? Is your credit score over 800? Are you living in the home of your dreams or simply where you think you can afford? If the answer to any of these questions is no, what are you doing about it? Text ATP to 79564. Complete a 3-minute complimentary survey and the area trusted professionals of Ron Siegel Radio will reach out to you to develop a success strategy for you. Again, all you need to do is text ATP to 79564.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. ronismylender.com. Again, ronismylender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime. At 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Your Credit Matters segment today being brought to you by MySoCalLender.com. MySoCalLender.com. How to save during the holidays and involve your community with the holiday season just around the corner. Many of us might be excited to partake in the festivities with friends and relations. Our wallets, however, might not feel as merry, out of fear of getting drained from spending overload, and rightly so. According to the National Retail Federation, NRF, in 2020, holiday spending spiked 8.3% despite the fears and financial uncertainty some faced during the pandemic. And for those who are trying to steer clear of holiday debt hangover and avoid the, quote, must get started shopping as early as possible, unquote, due to impending inventory shortages and shipping delays, one might feel pressed for time and money this year. Instead of digging deeper, debt, consider saving in a way that not only saves you time and money, but also can strengthen your community. Beyond experiencing warm, fuzzy feels from gift giving, you can also enjoy merriment and spread good cheer by reaching out to your tribe. Here are a handful of ways you can curtail holiday spending that involve your community at large. Host a buy nothing bazaar. That sounds kind of fun, right? Organize a virtual crafts workshop. Now, I should ask this one to Craig because this is funny. In my opinion, I mean, I'm sometimes people think that I'm a little warped in my humor, but are you familiar with these? What are they called? NFTs?
I am somewhat.
Okay, so basically, you buy something that you really don't get anything other than a picture of it on your phone, or to me, it seems like it's totally worthless.
That sounds like a hustle to me. Yes.
Right. Can you put that in your PRT?
You actually can. Yes, you actually can.
Okay.
But boy.
You know something? I am really an expert because I've got no creativity at all, but I could do virtual crafts, right? So just imagine that I put something really cool in front of you. Just imagine it. I thought that'd be my way of doing things. I could call my whole team. Okay, hey guys, just imagine that I sent you a Christmas bonus, right? With that, I'll just throw that out there. Schedule family traditions throughout the month. Okay. Put together a produce and recipe swap. We have a friend of ours that did a recipe swap. She actually made it into a book. Really cool. Volunteer. No shortage of ways you can donate your time during the holidays. Agree to do a white elephant exchange. A lot of people refer to me as a white elephant. Do your own version of a Santa photo session. Do that virtually too. And as always, manage
that's got pedophile written all over it.
Yeah, that does. That's trouble. We don't want to get into that one. And always manage your credit cards. That's just a few ideas for you. That's the Your Credit Matters segment. Hey, I'm going to give you some virtual gifts right now. So because we haven't given anything away today.
NFTs?
Yeah, NFT, exactly. So 7 steps to a 700 credit score. All you have to do is go to rsrcreditbook.com, rsrcreditbook.com. And along the same lines, identity theft book. So you can go to rsridtheftbook.com, rsridtheftbook.com. Get that free as well. And we did come out with our home buyer and seller guides just recently for the winter season. So all you have to do is go to rsrhbg.com, rsrhsg.com. And if you can't guess which one is which, sorry, rsrhbg.com, rsrhsg.com. So there's 4 little giveaways right here on Ron Siegel Radio. We appreciate you listening all the time. Getting back to our asset protection, we are chatting this morning, not giving legal advice, but we are chatting. Craig Redler is in studio with us, and we're talking about a couple of asset protection tools. So we got the California Private Retirement Plan. I put RET on my notes, and then I'm a little slow. I'm a simple guy. So California Private Retirement Plan. Now, I'm just going to throw this out there. We probably can't use this in Nevada.
Interestingly enough, you have to be a California resident.
Okay.
But a lot of times the trusts themselves, we domicile in Nevada just because Nevada's got superior trust code. And
why doesn't that surprise us?
And built-in asset protection also. The trust that we typically use is a completed gift grantor trust, a self-settled spendthrift grantor trust. It's kind of a mouthful, but basically what it says.
It's called Craig.
Yeah. It's a type of trust that if you fund a trust and make yourself a beneficiary, one could argue with a straight face, if a creditor comes knocking, well, it's not mine anymore. It belongs to the trust. California doesn't recognize those as an animal. That is to say, if I just funded a trust, even if it's an irrevocable trust, it's my property. I'm a beneficiary, even if I'm not the trustee. If a creditor sues me and I tell the court, well, he can't have those assets because it's in this trust, California judge is going to say, we don't buy those. Nevada, you actually can do that. You can fund your own trust, make yourself a beneficiary, and make it somewhat off limits to creditors. So
even if I live in California.
That's a question, which is why typically for just a straight up asset protection trust, I typically put those overseas, because that's a question. You could make that argument, and believe it or not, after decades of this, it really has not been settled in any court. One could argue there's a federal supremacy. So if I sue you in federal court, a federal court's not going to care about Nevada law. There's full faith and credit. That is to say, every state has to give full faith and credit to the judgments of every other state. So if I get a judgment against you in California and I march it across the border and try and execute it against your Nevada trust, is a Nevada court going to enforce the California judgment? I suspect it probably will. If you're a Nevada resident, you have one of these, you're safe. If you're a California resident and you have a Nevada asset protection trust, it's a question mark. So typically, but with the PRT, we're not really relying on that. We're relying on the California exemption statute. Going back to what I said,
okay,
the state's got your back.
So you got a lot of data in here, and again, we're trying to educate. And if you're a simple person like me, Josh caught all this stuff, and he's 100% set on this.
But
I'm a simple guy.
Think about this. What is a court? A court is an institution set up by the state. So it's the same state that created this court that gave the court the authority to take your property to satisfy judgment. The very same state saying you can take the debtor's property to satisfy your judgment, except this stuff over here in this trust. So it's really the same state that created the issue in the first place is giving you some relief from it.
That clears it up about as clear as mud.
Sorry.
That's and it's just because we're simple people, right? You studied, so in the 11 years you were in undergraduate school, right? And you gotta love that one, right? I mean, we're gonna use that one forever, right? And I was in the School of Jack Daniels over at Chapman University, or Chapman College back then. But then you went and spent all this time to get this law degree. I was out there doing something different, so I don't understand like 3/4 of what a lawyer does, right?
That I'm doing a horrible job explaining it. Then.
No, you're not, because it got me exactly what I want, right? It tells me that there is, and I hope this is good for you too, right? If you've got a concern on your mind that maybe you have a asset protection issue down the road, right? Then, and we didn't even get into what there may or may not be in look-back periods. But if you've got an asset protection issue, every one of us understand asset protection, right? I've got 50 cents in my pocket. I'm married, so I don't have very much money, right? So I have 50 cents in my pocket. I want to protect that. I can call Craig, and he can help me protect it, right? That's the bottom line of what we glean. Is there are options for you.
And financial advisors spend a lot of time talking about retirement. I suspect that comes up
Sure.
over here. And you see your financial advisor and he or she will say, if we do this and we do that and you buy this and you position here, when you retire at this anticipated age, you should have income and be able to live comfortably post-retirement. What is very seldom factored into that equation is what if you get sued between
Sure.
the day you set it up and the day you retire, and all of those assets that you acquired with an eye towards retirement all of a sudden are being taken from you. So that's a huge hole in any financial plan, in my opinion. So it seems like retirement planning and creditor protection planning should be done hand in hand, and they seldom are.
It's ironic how that, because I educate a lot of folks on the same scenario, is the vast majority of financial planners are dealing with the finances or the financial tools that they offer, right? Not that I'm saying that they're malicious in any way, but that's what their expertise is. And it's very, very rare that I ever see financial planners that look at how do you deal with debt in that financial plan, right? I talk about financial planning only from the debt side of the balance sheet. And we can show somebody how to retire using the mortgage and not having a 401k and not having an IRA and not having all these other items, but we talk about it from the debt side. Financial planners very rarely, okay, what's your mortgage worth? What's your house worth? Okay, and that's the extent of it. They don't talk about the asset protection. They don't talk about the 70% of the first-time home marriages that end in divorce, right? That's not their sphere.
Going back to what you mentioned earlier, the team concept.
Yeah, you got to have that household board of directors.
You got to have the household board of directors for sure.
Great information as always. If you want to meet Craig, get any information from him, give me a call at 800-306-1990. Again, 800-306-1990. And as always, I ask you, set that first radio preset button to come back here and join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. A very big thanks to Josh and Sean who are engineering us today. And, of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions or to meet any of our guests, call me anytime, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. And remember, make a lot of money so you can help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.
Push me over the limit. I'd like to call him something. I think I'll just call it a day.